collagen and stem cells work at a faster rate.
There's virtually, that scar.
Yes.
Show Gary.
There's a diabetic toe, Doc, if you turn the page too. That's pretty miraculous.
Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
That is a grotesque incision. And there's virtually no scar.
Right.
That is unbelievable.
See, a lot of the doctors want a replacement for Neosporin, and I'm just mentioning it on air
what is Neosporin?
Neosporin is the go-to antimicrobial product that's been sold in drugstores forever. However, they have now discovered that after a few days, it actually starts killing healthy cells. So the docs don't want to even recommend it. So they're looking for answers of a safer product.
All right, now look at this.
Okay,
these are describe what this photograph.
That was a young man in his 30s who had already had an amputated toe on one foot. This was his other foot, and what they did is put silver gel in the wound under a bandage. Every 3 days, it was changed. By day 25, the wound had closed. No amputation. He was ecstatic.
It's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's go to Tampa, Florida. Dylan, welcome to the show. It's great to have you on.
Love that insight about the Neosporin. Yeah, the protocol's changed on that. Right now, the docs are just using Vaseline. FYI, petroleum.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, you know, it's so funny. It looks so pure and nice. It's almost delicious looking, right? But people read down a little bit. Petroleum jelly.
Right.
Anyway, the silver I've used. I love it. Also on wounds. I recommend people just massage around that area. Just take your hands and use something, silver gel, whatever, massage all around it. Not on the actual incision, but around it, building up that circulation.
Yes.
And, of course, one thing people always forget is what you're eating at the time you're healing is critical to that external result that you want.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's a whole nother topic. He makes
Try to hold off on your sugar while you're trying to heal a scar.
Yes.
Scarring is, it's one of the issues with plastic surgery. And when you have one of the best facial surgeons here in the city, as far as I'm concerned, Dr. Edward Ferrier, I wouldn't let anybody touch my face but him. He's remarkable. I think he's a fourth generation surgeon in his family. I've known Dr. Ferrier for many, many years, and he's sensitive to all these issues, and he only does face. That's it. He doesn't do augmentation, not reduction, none of that. Just the face. And so when you have a surgeon working on your face, you always worry about the scarring. Not with him. Is there such a thing as anti-aging? Welcome back to Let's Talk Nutrition. Words mean, right? Let's think about the word. Anti-aging. Now, I don't know how the principals at A4M, the officers and, all the people that run the outfit think about that. But to me, it's not a trite issue because words mean. And what the words that you use influence how you think. And how you think influence your words choice. So this is important. Anti-aging. Against aging. What do you make of that, Dr. Byrd?
Well, it's kind of a negative word. We've discussed this with many circles of influence over the last few years, but it's a good marketing, succinct category to capture attention for marketing. But realistically, what these doctors are doing is slowing down the aging process. That's just not as sexy of a marketing term, So when you say anti-aging, it is an attraction getter. And yes, you can slow down the aging process, but will never stop aging on this planet. It's inevitable.
There was an article in The Guardian. I don't know if you're familiar with that. And they were talking about this. The headline was, "Is it time to ditch the term anti-aging?" And they show a photograph of Helen Mirren.
Yes.
The actress.
Yes.
She's a beautiful woman.
Beautiful.
I don't know what hold she is. Gary, you can check that, please. She's been around a while.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I have mixed feelings about the term. I like the phrase successful aging.
Oh, excellent.
And that comes from the discipline where, they study the aging process. Successful aging, that phrase has been around quite a while. And I don't believe, and I don't like the phrase aging gracefully. I have talked about that, and I've written about it. Maybe in the next block or at the next hour, I will share with you my take on the difference between those two phrases. Aging successfully, successful aging. Some might say, well, you're certainly being picky. Well, you know what? My oncologist said that to me. He said, well, Dr. Garko, you're awfully, no, here's how he said it. You're awfully particular.
That was his warning to me when we first started working together. We were sitting there and I was dwelling over something, and he goes, listen, he goes, he did it just like that. He goes, I am just very awfully particular. And I was like,
my doctor was being kind.
Very kind.
He said, you are particular.
73 she is.
She's 73.
Wow, she looks amazing.
She's amazing.
Amazing.
She's amazing. I would take Helen Miller to dinner. Absolutely. She probably wouldn't give me the time of day if she were standing under Big Ben. She wouldn't even look up to tell me what time it is. She's a beautiful woman.
Mm-hmm.
So when you use that phrase, anti-aging, some people who gerontology is where successful aging comes from.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a whole series of articles and books on successful aging. I mean, there's so much there. Let me pull up the Oxford Academic Dictionary. It's very hard to define successful aging. The there are a number of operational definitions out there. Rowe and Kahn, way couple decades back, were one of the first ones to talk about successful aging and what that meant. I could look up their definition. And since that time, people have built upon that, and the whole concept has exploded. I think it's a more optimistic, more rhetorically sensitive way to talk about aging. When you say anti-aging, it sounds like there's an implication and a possible link to not viewing the long-lived people in a positive way. When you're anti-aging, you're against aging. Well,
yes.
I know they mean the process, but there are humans who are like myself who are a lot older than many, many others. And so when you say anti-aging, does that imply does that sort of discriminate, not intentionally, but does it, an unintended consequence? Subconsciously, words mean, right? And subconsciously, when we say anti-aging, you start to view people who are aged a lot more than others in a negative light. You follow me?
Yes.
So I don't like the phrase. I've used the phrase. I've used it in my writings. Just trying to find another, so I try to use as much as I can successful aging and what that means. Anti-aging. Anti what? Elderly? Anti long-lived people? Is that what you mean? Maybe not. But in our society, there is such a thing as ageism. We do discriminate against elderly people in a number of different ways, and it's wrong. And I got a news flash for you. You're all going to get there. I'm there. I'm there, and I can see it now. The way I look belies my age. People don't know how old I am when they look at me, and so I'm sort of like an observer. And I can watch and see how people talk to the elderly, how they treat them in ways that they're not even conscious of, that are really, really unpleasant and disrespectful. And there's a lot of people listening and watching this show right now are shaking their head affirmatively. Yes, yes. Yeah, we don't treat the elderly very well. We come back, we'll talk more about silver biotics, how it contributes to aging, how it contributes to many aspects of your health. It's a wonderful product. Yeah. We're fans. There it is. American Biotech Labs, evidence-based company. Let's talk nutrition, where everybody is beautiful. Welcome to Let's Talk Nutrition. Thanks for tuning in today, starting your week off with us. We're so glad that you're there. We're grateful. No one's taken for granted. We show up here because of you. That's the only reason why we're here. You're the purpose. And we're trying to find ways to connect and make contact. We go out of our way to do that. I know that only a very small percentage of people, I'm keenly aware, I know the literature, I know the statistics, will call or even write. Because sometimes people are shy or they're busy and they don't want to. They would rather remain anonymous and just listen. And I get that. But this is, just to tell you, it's a safe space. You don't need to worry. You can always ask a question, even if it's off topic. That's how the show has been for the last 14 years. It's its birthday this month. On May the 5th, it was 14 years old. And we've never, in the whole time we've done this show, I've never had a crossword with a caller, ever. I just won't let that happen. And I want it to be a safe zone and for people to be able to express themselves without being eviscerated. Will there be times when I disagree with people? I disagree with people all the time. Sometimes I'll say something. There's a time and place for everything. Sometimes guests will say things. And if you caught on how I do it, I don't say, well, that's absolutely nonsense, or I never do that. I'll say, well, what about this view? Or what about that view? That's probably a pretty good sign that I'm, not really satisfied with what they're saying, and I'm asking them to explore another point of view. And we should be able to do that. I should be able to do that, and so should you. And so that's what rather than wasting my time and your time trying to diagnose and treat somebody, which I can't do, don't want to do, and would never do. I'm a PhD, not an MD. And if I were an MD, I wouldn't do it either. We talk about the show's about educating ourselves. To educate is to persuade. As a teacher, I've known that for decades. And when you're a professor, the root word of professor is profess. And you have a point of view, and you're trying to educate the audience and tell them what the options are. It's more useful for me to tell you what the different points of view are, and you're going to see some of that this hour. I'll give you 2 points of view about aging and how to think about it. One I favor, one I don't. And now I'll tell you why. Then you decide yourself, well, I agree or I disagree with him, and you can always call and comment on my view. It's not there's a lot of things to be in life besides right and wrong. And some people walk around expending a lot of energy and living in a very dark place about wanting to be right. I just want to be. How about that? Let's just start there. I just want to be. And being right or wrong, sure, there are things that are right, there are things that are wrong. That's what your values are all about. Your values are your guidelines for what you think is right and wrong, ethical, not ethical. But to go after somebody just because you want to be right is a colossal waste of energy, in my view. That's just me. So that's just to give you an idea of what we're doing around here. Dr. Byrd's here.
You can reach us at 877-897-8255. That's 877-897-TALK. Dr. Garko's personal email, again, is drgarko@letstalknutrition.com. Follow us, like us, and share us on Facebook at Let's Talk Nutrition, on Instagram at Let's Talk Nutrition. And again, subscribe to the YouTube channel at Let's Talk Nutrition, where there's over 66,000 views and 1,200 videos now.
We're going to talk about aging this hour. We're going to talk about fluoridation, because at the anti-aging conference, the A4M in Orlando that Dr. Byrd attended this past weekend, She said that a couple of buses of dentists showed up. And, on the bus it says chartered. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. They dropped them off at the wrong conference. They were supposed to go to the dentist conference down the road. No, didn't.
That's next month, actually.
There you go. See, I'm not that far off. But she told me that told us on air that there were a lot of dentists there, and who were the other?
And also pharmacists.
Pharmacists.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to talk about fluoridation, which is a very provocative topic. It gets people's hair on fire. Before we go there, let's call and let's talk to Linda. We're not going to call her. She called us. Linda, thank you for holding. We appreciate your patience. Hi, Linda.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good. So okay. So what did you want to ask?
I was asking about do you know of anything that I could get at GNC? I mean, not GNC. The name of this place. I would go to Vitamin Discount Center, places like that. Do you know anything is supposed to be good for? Been doing a lot of exercise, but I'm seeing you having problems with my.
You wanted to ask about fat burners. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about that. First of all, exercise is not a good predictor for weight loss. Now, you may find that shocking, and you're going to say, what? I thought that if you exercise, you lose weight. Well, maybe. Exercise alone is not a good predictor for weight loss. Diet alone is a better predictor. Diet and exercise together is a better predictor yet. If you're just
That's what I do.
Okay.
I do that.
Okay, I understand.
Uh-huh.
And it gets you get a little frustrated because you're not losing the weight fast enough, and you're trying. I presume that you're on a diet. Yes.
Yes, I eat out the small plates, all that kind of stuff.
All right. How much? Okay. Are you overweight?
I'm at around 170, and I want to get down to 150.
Okay, so you're 170 pounds. All right.
Yes.
So where you start is with your food, and if you listen to the show, you hear me talk about those nutritional principles to follow to lose weight. And fad diets typically don't work. These fad diets. So calorie restriction, calorie management, you hear me talk about that and different ways to do that. My rule of thumb is the fast way should be the last way, because you end up gaining. You can lose. I could tell you how to lose a lot of weight real quick, but I wouldn't be doing you a big favor, because you'll gain it all back and then some. We come back, I'll tell you something about PGX. Dr. Michael Lyon, and he's one of the leading in my opinion, he's one of the leading experts in the world on weight loss. And I'll tell you about his clinic. I'll tell you about a little bit about PGX, where you can learn about PGX and what it does. It's a simple little thing you can do. I'll just tell you about one thing. I could tell you a gazillion things. You're not going to do them. You're not going to remember them either. But I can tell you about one thing that I think would help you. We come back, we'll do that. I'll spend a few minutes with you, so don't hang up. And we'll come back and we'll talk to you some more. You are listening to Let's Talk Nutrition. Dr. Sally Byrd is here. Linda's question is, she's illustrative of many people. They're trying to lose weight desperately. They're looking for some answer. Some answers are good and some not so much. Talk Nutrition. Let's go back to Linda. She called, and Linda is really, her question is illustrative of the kinds of questions that people are asking that listen and watch this show, not only this show, but other health talk shows. How can I lose weight? How can I do this faster? How can I get it off? And a principle that I follow is usually the fast way should be the last way. Okay, Linda, I'm going to tell you about one thing, and then you can evaluate it and look into it. There's a product called PGX, and PGX, and all it is soluble fiber. And it comes in different delivery systems. It comes in granules. You mix it in water, stir it up. It's clear, no taste. It's easy to take. You drink it. They also have their shakes, which are fabulous. Gary will tell you, right, Gary?
Oh, yes.
You like them, right?
They have a chocolate shake that is amazing.
Okay. And it has 5 grams of PGX in it. PGX will quell your appetite. It will help you manage your appetite. You will not feel hungry. There's a website you can go to. It's pgx.com. There's a lot of information there. I would suggest if you can't get there, get somebody to go there for you and get the material that's on there. It's free, articles and whatever information, and read about PGX. I'm a fan. The product works, and you take it before a meal. It comes in these little stick packs. They're like 2.5 grams. You mix it in water, drink it 20 minutes or so before you eat, and you won't eat as much because the soluble fiber expands in your stomach, and you get sends a signal to your brain that you're full, and you will eat less. That's one of the things that Dr. Michael Lyon uses in his weight loss clinic in Canada, where they see like 300 plus patients a day, and they're all there for one reason: to lose weight. And it's a government-sponsored clinic. Canadian government. And they've had great success with PGX. There's been a lot of research on it. It's a safe product. The product works. That's one thing I can tell you that I know works. And you could introduce that into your life, and you will start to lose weight. If you can lose a pound a week, you're doing great. That's a successful weight loss program. A pound a week is a lot. And if you listen to my show on our website, there's audio and there's video on weight loss. And the titles of the show will tell you that. There's a lot of information, but I talk about weight loss all the time. Now, I know you wanted me to tell you about a fat burner or something, and I'm reluctant to do that because I know in the end, that's not the answer for you. I know it isn't. And I don't know you from Adam's rib. If you were my client, that would be the last thing I would recommend as a fat burner. We want to lose fat, but we want to keep our muscle. So you go to the gym, you work out. May I ask how old you are, Linda?
I really don't like revealing my age.
It's okay. All right, no worries. But
I'm 71.
All right. Well, you're a young. You're a young woman.
I'm very active.
Oh, good.
Yes, I'm very active.
Well, you got to keep moving. It's walking. I don't care what you do. You got to keep moving. If you can go to a gym or lift weights or get on the machines and build some muscle, that's wonderful too. And I know your enthusiasm for wanting to lose weight and you want to lose 50 pounds. Okay, so you take it 1 pound at a time.
No, that's not 50 pounds. That's about 30 pounds, ain't it?
All right, 30, whatever. 30, 3, 30, 13 makes no difference. The point is how are you going to get there? How are you going to get there? And what the method that you use has to be sustainable. If you listen to my show, I talk about a diet. I recommend eating a whole food, plant-based diet with if you like meat, a little bit of meat with it. That will help you lose weight because eating a whole food, plant-based diet is filled with fiber. When you eat, fiber is a key to weight loss. it's a key because fiber, I've done many shows on this. I can't get into it now, but that I fundamentally believe in. That's why I recommended PGX. And if you can't get to that website, get somebody to help you with that. Go to pgx.com. First, I would ask you to read about it. And then it's easy to do. And I would get the shake and use that in between meals. It's called intermittent fasting or a partial meal replacement. That technique is very useful and it works. And you can use PGX as a partial meal replacement. And you will feel full and you will eat less and you will lose weight. So I know you called about fat burners, and I don't have a fat burner I can recommend because I don't think in those. I don't think in those terms. The only thing I think about burning is I just don't want to burn the house down. That's the only thing I'm worried about burning. I don't.
Well, it's not. It's not similar to what I was saying, though. That's not really what I'm saying about burning the house down.
No, I know. I'm being. I'm just. Yeah. That was a bad joke. So that's what I would recommend, and I hope that's helpful, and I appreciate you calling and I appreciate you listening. We'll come back. We'll talk some more. Sometimes I'll say things that people may not want to hear, but when people hire me, oftentimes I tell them most of what I tell them is not what they want to hear, but that's okay. Because I know you got to trust my judgment, and we've had pretty good success with people losing weight using these kind of principles. We come back, we'll continue our conversation with Dr. Byrd. Thank you. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Let's Talk Nutrition. Fluoridation. This came up at the conference that Dr. Byrd attended this past weekend at A4M, the anti-aging conference. And a lot of dentists were there. And the issue of fluoridation came up. I'm going to let Dr. Byrd share with you a story about a dentist and what the dentist told her about fluoridation. So, and then we'll go from there. Fluoridation is a very volatile issue. There are people that arm themselves with weapons when they're arguing against fluoridation. I mean, it gets crazy. It's not necessary to do that. But Dr. Byrd, tell the story about the dentist and what the dentist told you about fluoridation. Don't mention any names.
I'm not mentioning names. This dentist tries to be a holistic dentist. His wife has a wellness center, so they come to the shows for both of their practices. And we were discussing the issue of fluoride because Silver Biotics has a tooth gel and a toothpaste that are fluoride free. And we were discussing about both the dangers of over fluoride. Getting too much in your system is called fluoridosis. It can hurt your bones. It can hurt with neurological things. But he told me a different side of the story. He used the city of Daytona Beach as an example. It's a city, 68,000 people approximately. And he said in many of the income groups and people who do not go to the dentist at least twice a year, people who live on junk food, they're drinking soda, they're eating too much sugar, they're stressed out. If they don't have fluoride in the water, that's tap water. Most cities do put fluoride now in tap water. Then these people, when they get infections in the mouth, can run up thousands and thousands of dollars. Because what's going to happen? When you get a tooth infection, really, really severe, it can debilitate you. You can't do anything else. That'll run up thousands of dollars in emergency medical bills. And if they get a prescription for antibiotics and are told to see the dentist, most of them do not go see their dentist. They don't feel they can afford to go.
So for low-income people who are eating an unhealthy diet,
that's correct,
not taking care of their teeth, the fluoride is protective.
Yes, he said it's a lifesaver. Because he said, Sally, they're not going to all drink green tea, because that's my solution is to consume foods that will help with fluoride in your system.
Sorry. So
we're not in Japan.
So he feels that in that regard, fluoride serves a good public service.
It serves a purpose for where they are now.
Okay. Fluoridation. First of all, what is fluoride? Fluoride is a group of compounds composed of the naturally occurring element fluorine. And one or more other elements. Fluorides are present naturally, by the way, in water and in the soil at different levels. It's part of the planet, okay? In the 1940s, scientists discovered that people who lived in areas and were drinking water from water supplies that had naturally occurring fluoride in it, approximately 1 part fluoride per million parts of water or greater, had fewer cavities, or as the dentists say, dental caries, than people who lived where fluoride levels in the drinking water were lower. Many recent studies have supported this finding. You put fluoride in the water, and people have less cavities. That's a fact. That's the truth. Dr. Byrd's story that the dentist told her suggests that. So what is water fluoridation? Water fluoridation is the process of adding fluoride to the water so the level reaches approximately 0.7 parts per million or 0.7 milligrams of fluoride per liter of water. This is the optimal level, according to the government, for preventing tooth decay. That's 0.7 parts per million or 0.7 milligrams of fluoride per liter of water. In 1945 in Grand Rapids, Michigan, they adjusted the fluoride content of the water to 1.1 0.0 part per million, and thus became the first city, by the way, to implement community water fluoridation, Grand Rapids. By 2008, more than 72% of the U.S. population served by public water systems had access to fluoridated water. These are facts. There's nothing to dispute here. These are cold, hard, straight up, full stop facts. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention considers fluoridation of water, now this is an opinion, this is not a fact, one of the greatest achievements in public health in the 20th century. That's their opinion. They're entitled to their opinion. Can fluoride water cause cancer? That's an issue. There is a possible relationship between fluoridated water and cancer risk has been debated for many, 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 many years. Right, Dr. Byrd?
Yes.
The debate resurfaced in 1990 when a study by the National Toxicology Program, part of the National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences, showed an increased number of osteosarcomas, those are bone tumors, in male rats. These were in experiments, given high in fluoride for 2 years. So in the experiment, they were giving these rats a lot of fluoride. They developed osteosarcoma. However, there are other studies in humans and in animals, lab studies, that have not found that association between fluoridated water and cancer. So it's mixed. It's back and forth. There's much more to this story. If you go to the National Cancer Institute, NIH, they have an article entitled "Fluoridated Water." You can read all about it from their point of view. When we come back, I'll ask Dr. Byrd to give the argument as to why she thinks fluoridated water is dangerous and why many people are concerned about fluoride in the water. All right? Now, you heard the story that she told about the dentist who said, you got to have fluoride in the water because there's people out there that don't eat well, don't take care of their teeth, and if you don't have fluoride in the water, it's going to be a dumpster fire for them. So this is really a hard issue. Where do we go? Always ask the question, show me the data. Where are the data? Where are the data? Show me the studies, pro and con. Then you got to evaluate. There are studies on both sides. What should we do? The $64,000 question. I was giving a brief history on fluoride and fluoridation. And I talked about fluoridation when it began in the United States. It was back in 1945, I said. What was the city that became, the first city to implement community water fluoridation? Was it Lansing, Michigan, Grand Rapids, Michigan, or Detroit, Michigan? I gave the answer. Which was the first city in the United States to implement community water fluoridation back in 1945? Oh, my goodness, that was a long time ago. Lansing, Grand Rapids, or Detroit, Michigan? Here's the number to call to win a $25 supplement gift card.
877-897-8255. That's 877-897-TALK.
Okay, Dr. Byrd's going to give you the argument as to why the water shouldn't be fluoridated. I gave you a little bit of, go to the NIH website on fluoridated water, or NIH, the National Cancer Institute, and read about fluoridated water. You can hear the argument as to why it should be fluoridated.
There have been numerous studies and books that have been written over the last probably 40 years. Fluoride was starting to get integrated into our drinking water heavily into the 1950s, and then it migrated into oral care into the 1960s. So the reasons against it are neurological damage into the brain, and also bone loss, and as we discussed earlier, possible cancerous tumors. So overall, a general lowering or lack in your immune health system is associated with too much fluoride. Small amounts may be okay, but when they're stacked against you, say in the water supply and in oral care products, you may not need it. There are many healthy foods that contain fluorine, as Dr. Garko explained earlier, the precursor to fluoride. And should someone eat an apple a day, that's probably enough fluoride for your system. Green tea, cucumbers are a major source of natural fluorine, as in so is spinach, asparagus, carrots, tomatoes. So if you eat a well-balanced diet and see your dentist twice a year and floss, take care of yourself, you may not need as much fluoride as someone who does not do those things.
Make no mistake, the fluoridation debate is a mix of science, how can I put, passionate opinion, nonsense. It's all over the lot, and it's hard to make and sort your way through it. What's a person to do? Well, the water is going to be fluoridated, whether you like it or not. The cities fluoridate the water. All right, if you don't think drinking fluoride water is a good idea, then don't drink the city water. Drink bottled water. Get but the bottled water, whatever you need to do, and then quit buying all these products with the fluoride in it. There you go. Problem solved for you. But you might say, well, why should I do that? Don't I have the right to drink my water from the faucet? Why does my city, the government, have the authority to put it in there? Well, you voted for these people. Okay? So go vote. If you don't like who put the fluoride in the water, fluoridate them out of office. Let's go to Bel Air. I've been to Bel Air because the Hulk used not the Hulk, but what's his name?
Hogan.
When I did Hogan's Nose, I did a series on Hogan's Nose Best, a whole episode. I went to Bel Air at his house at the time. Let's go to Gil. Welcome to the show, Gil. How are you doing?
I am better that I'm not drinking fluoride water.
See?
Woohoo!
There you go. He doesn't like fluoride water either. So what was the first city where community water fluoridation began in 1945? Lansing, Grand Rapids, Michigan, or Detroit, Michigan?
Well, they're all on the bottom of Michigan, and they're probably all doing it, but Grand Rapids was the first.
There you go.
And I heard that they were lobbied terrifically by some chemical industry who wanted to get rid of their fluorides, which were a waste product.
Okay, well, there you go. See, he threw that in there, and this is exactly
Thank you.
This is exactly what happens, right? I was just reporting a fact, and he had this other information.
That's
It's
right.
some would say, "Oh, that's a conspiracy theory," but this is exactly what happens. I don't have an opinion about this. I've never given it that much thought. That's the truth. I go to the dentist 4 times a year. I brush, I floss, I water pick. That's all I can do. If I do any more than that and I still get dental caries or cavities, then shoot me. There's nothing else. That's all I'm going to do. I'm going to do those 3 things: floss, brush, and water pick. And I go to the dentist 4 times a year. And I got all my teeth. I'm like a horse, right? They open the mouth and you say, "Oh, you got all your teeth. Okay, good for you." So, Silver Biotics, how does that improve oral health? And
Tremendously. The silver toothpaste gels, even drinking it orally, can kill the bacteria in the mouth that cause the dental caries in the first place. And it can be used against plaque infection. It can destroy the mouth biofilm, which is all that sticky substance when you wake up in the morning. When you start using the tooth gel and the toothpaste, your teeth feel squeaky clean. And you've destroyed the bacteria, and you'll have a healthier mouth and oral system.
the tooth gel, if you put a little bit in your mouth, rub it inside of your gums before you go to bed at night, you get up in the morning, you won't have that, like somebody, dump something in your mouth during the night.
Called a biofilm.
Biofilm. It helps a lot. It kills bacteria. It may help with receding gums.
Yes.
I highly recommend it. Their new toothpaste is also a whitener. And I went through a whole tube of it. Hint, hint, hint.
Okay.
I went through a whole tube of it.
That's just
I even put the tooth gel with some other toothpaste when I brush my teeth. So the tooth gel is a great product by Silver Biotics. Sold in fine health stores throughout the U.S. and those that are trying to be fine. Thank you, Dr. Byrd. We love you. You're such a great guest. You always bring things here. You always bring gifts, stories, and product, and ideas, and your honesty. We think the world of you. We love you. We love you. We love you. And God willing, we'll be back tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Your health is your wealth, and your health is the wealth of those that care about and love you.
Everyone's raving about the newest botanical superstar hitting the store shelves nationwide.